Welcome to another episode of
The Epic Family Road Trip.
Hey guys, so today we're on the Tableland hike in Gros Morne National Park, Newfoundland, Canada. We did not expect this. This is insane. So beautiful.
We are standing on the mantle of the earth. This is one of 3 or maybe 4 places in the world where the earth's mantle is exposed. Pretty neat stuff. Just going along the highway and we saw that in the background, so Carol and I jumped out and said let's hike out there. It's almost 3-kilometer hike, which we jogged, but it was worth it. The scenery is spectacular, and now we're heading back to the kids who are waiting in the Jeep on the jog. So as you may or may not know, we homeschool our kids, or as we prefer to call it, road school or world school. And that allows us to travel together, but also get a good education while we're doing it. And the kids follow the Ontario curriculum online, and so they have teacher-led classes, and they're able to get their credits for high school while we travel. But on top of that, we try to hit a lot of extracurricular activities. And you know, if we're learning about the history of a country, it's great to learn it from the books and to hear about it and read about it, but what better than to go and actually stand amongst the ruins of that piece of history, or to really touch and feel it. So that's what we're trying to do. And when we're in Newfoundland, we're not just here for a pleasure trip. We're here to discover the area, learn about it, and to visit some pretty cool historic sites. So the first one on our list is ancient ruins from Leif Erikson, a Viking. These are the Norse people that came to North America. They're thought to be the first Europeans to create a settlement on North American land, and they landed way up at the top of the North Peninsula of Newfoundland. And they know this because they found the ruins and the leftovers of what they call a winter camp that Leif Erikson and his crew made up there. So today we're going to tour around that site and learn from the historians on site.
In 1960, there was a Norwegian gentleman named Helge Ingstad who showed up in the village of Lasso Meadows. Now, as a young man, he was a lawyer back in Norway, but he got tired of that life, and he sold his business and came to Canada to live with the Dene in the Northwest Territories. And he wrote a book about that time called The Land of Feast and Famine. Then he went down and lived with the Apache in the United States for a while. Then he read the sagas. He got interested in finding this Newfoundland place. So he started a search in Rhode Island. He was picking his way up the eastern seaboard looking for strange features in the landscape. When he got to Lasso Meadows, he spoke to a local fisherman named George Decker. He showed him the Indian River. This is the first time in human history that after leaving Africa 100,000 years ago, the two branches of human expansion wrapped the earth and met each other for the first time. And that's what this sculpture represents. It's the meeting of two worlds, with the Norse and the Aboriginal peoples. The room we're standing in now, these are living and sleeping quarters for the crew. The Vikings live in the kitchen, do the cooking in here. And there's one small room back here for the crew chief and his wife, or maybe the navigator, the Norse muckety mucks, the only private accommodation. And in a longhouse like this, you would have 20 to 30 people living.
Hey guys, we're just at the ferry terminal in northern Newfoundland, and we are going to take the ferry across to Labrador and see some sights over there. Here comes the ferry that's going to take us across to Labrador. like sardines. Labrador, a place called National Park, or Provincial Park, and it's right on the St. Lawrence. Absolutely gorgeous place, but man, we got here just at sunset or dusk, and the bugs, some little tiny little black flies, just out of control. We barely got their place set up, and the boys quickly got a fire going to produce some smoke and try to smoke these things out of here. I think they go away once the sun goes down. I'm pretty sure I'll let you know. Dinner now. The bugs have died down a little bit. Earlier they were just crazy. We've never experienced anything like that. We're expecting rain as well. Being right on the coast here in Labrador, you never know what the weather's going to do. So we are taking down everything that's non-essential and getting it all packed away, because we don't know. We might wake up to a torrential rainstorm, so we want to be ready to pack up and leave. We've been through that in New Zealand, and this time we'll be prepared. So this area's got really rugged and spectacular beauty. It's really worth the visit despite the bugs that come in the evening. If you're prepared, it's not a big problem, and it's worth coming up here. It's so incredibly remote. I think there's one other person in this entire provincial park that's camping, or one couple. So you don't often get that when you go camping. You get this kind of remote beauty. So definitely come here.
Yummy.
So tomorrow, depending on the weather of course, but if everything works out, we're going to head north about 50 kilometers to a place called the Basque Whalers Camp. It's where the whalers back in the day came and got all the blubber and the oil and filled their ships with whale oil and would bring it back to Europe, and that's what lit the streets of Europe and the UK back in the day before electricity was invented. There's also the tallest lighthouse in Canada, apparently here, between here and the whalers camp, so we hope to stop in there and check that out as well. I think that'll be interesting. Now that it's school time, we're doing a lot of educational field trips, and I think tomorrow has a couple of really good ones in store. Good morning from Provincial Park here in Labrador. It was a beautiful night. We stayed by the fire. It didn't rain until early this morning, and then it's stopped now. So for the time being, we're making breakfast, making some coffee, and enjoying pretty decent weather. But you can see it rained pretty hard last night. We got a few puddles, but nothing we can't handle, that's for sure. Everybody stayed high and dry, so we look forward to a fun day in Labrador. So for today's school lesson, we're learning about the Basque whalers who came here to Labrador to harpoon whales and then to harvest their blubber, which they boiled down on this island into oil, which lit the lamps of Europe. And these guys were just incredibly tough people. And Red Harbor here in Labrador became one of the best places to do this kind of work, because the whales were plentiful, but also this harbor was well protected by this island. So right in the mouth of the harbor is this island, which we just took a boat right across, and we're going to walk and explore the island. This is where back in the 80s they discovered the ship that had sunk here by reading some old records back in Basque, which is between Spain and France. They were going through some old archives, and they read about some whalers that had their ship had sunk in Labrador, and sure enough they found the boat and they found all these artifacts. They did a big archaeological dig here, and so that's what we're going to do, is tour the island. back at the Apollo getting ready to cross back into Newfoundland. Labrador was amazing, even though we were just here for a short amount of time, but the weather was terrible. In fact, it's raining like crazy right now. Actually, we got some decent weather, even though it was predicted that there'd be a big rainstorm. It didn't happen until just now, so we're getting on the boat and it's torrential rain, but that's okay because we're leaving. Taking our time and trying to get there safely. Now today, while in Newfoundland, we are in Gros Morne National Park, and we get the opportunity to jump on a tour boat which is going to take us through an inland fjord. Now this is an incredibly interesting area. As much as 40 glaciers moved through this area over the years, carving out a gorgeous canyon. Very much reminded us of places like Milford Sound or Doubtful Sound in New Zealand. And this is a hidden gem right in the middle of Gros Morne National Park. And it used to be joined to the ocean, but after the glaciers left, the peat bogs and the whole land lifted because the weight of the ice was off, and it lifted high enough that it cut this glacier, this fjord off from the ocean. And now it's a standalone fjord, and incredibly deep, clear, beautiful water surrounded by high, magnificent cliffs and waterfalls. Jump on board the boat with us and we'll take you through this incredible fjord in Gros Morne National Park. Today we're on a father-daughter date in Gros Morne National Park. We're going on a boat ride on the way out of Newfoundland, we're leaving Gros Morne National Park and heading to the ferry to get a ride back to Cape Breton. One of our Instagram followers actually notified us and said, while you're there, make sure you hit the insectarium. So believe it or not, we drove right past it. So we turned around and went in and got to explore 3 floors of insects, all kinds of insects, from butterflies to big ugly bugs from all over the world, and it was quite fascinating. Here's some video that will make your skin crawl, but if you love bugs, this is the place to be.
Picky though, they won't eat just any leaf. So if you were to put in a lettuce or a cabbage leaf, they wouldn't eat it. They really like raspberry leaves. That's what we feed them. They'll also eat oak leaves, and I believe it's rose leaves. Those are really the only 3 leaves that they distinctly like.
Roll up your sleeve, eh?
It's a big stick.
There you go. You might need 2 hands.
Oh. That is so cool.
If any of you guys were interested too, when I take them back there, you can actually pet them and pet the back. It even feels like a stick, so you can just really gently pet them right there. It almost feels like bark.
Yeah.
Well, I'm guessing that would be a cow. And then now they're red.
So the queen is a what?
There's a mark on the
And his little green dot. Oh.
one of the most widely recognized species.
Red knee tarantula.
And then after one night in Basque, we got up in the morning, hit the Timmy's there, grabbed a coffee, and went down to the ferry terminal and got ready to load up onto the ferry and make the 6-hour crossing across Cabot Strait to North Sydney, Cape Breton. We're aboard the ferry, rather large ferry, that takes us to Cape Breton, back to the mainland. We had such a awesome time here in Newfoundland. This is really a spectacular part of Canada, this whole island. This is our first time being here, but it's so unique, and the The countryside is so beautiful and different, and the people are so kind, and the vibe here is just laid back and really awesome. The music is awesome, everything. Newfoundland, Labrador, we love you. We will be back. We've basically only explored your northern peninsula. There's a lot more yet to see. Next time we come back, we're going to come in the spring when the whales and the icebergs are flowing through Iceberg Alley. Then we'll get over to St. John's and all of Gander and all of that stuff over there on the other side of the island. But for now, we had such an awesome adventure here in Newfoundland. We really enjoyed our time in Newfoundland. It's just a spectacular place. The scenery is incredible. The people are friendly. The music is wonderful. The food is amazing. We want to do a lot more exploring in Newfoundland, so we'll be back for sure someday. But in the meantime,
We'll see you down the road.